Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind of a Man. In this episode, we're going to pivot because we were going to talk about health and men's challenges about health, but we're going to pivot and talk about some issues that I think are very relevant for everyone. But before we get there, my co host, Toby, here, and I had some questions come in. And
Sure did.
these are people who have questions about relationships. And here's one of them, Toby.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready to
Uh,
go.
are you sure?
Locked and loaded.
Oh,
Ready to
okay.
go.
Here it is. Why should a woman expect a man to take care of her or for stability purposes?
That is an open-ended question.
That's an open ended
That's
question.
an open-ended question.
Okay, I did say, are you ready now?
I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
But because of time, I'm going to answer that question from a high level perspective.
Okay.
From a high level. And if we want to go details, we can go into details by making it a topic in the coming weeks.
I'm all game. I'm all
If
game.
you're
I'm
okay
all
with
game.
that. Okay. So from a high level standpoint, biblically, and ironically, we were talking about this behind the scenes. My producer's looking at me with three eyes, but I'm gonna still proceed. Um, Biblically, I do believe that the Lord said the man is a head, and of course, the woman is a neck, because without the neck, there's no head. Okay, so the head won't stand straight. So going forward, is it backwards? Okay, my producer said, is it backwards? Okay. So that's my perspective of it. One, two. In the Bible, the man, I believe, memory serves me correctly, the man is the provider. He provides for the family. He protects the family. He protects everything within the family. So to keep the family afloat. Of course, it's not complete without the woman. It's not complete without the woman. Decisions cannot be made in the household officially without the presence of the woman of the house, of her knowing about it. She might like the decision, she might not like the decisions that the head of the house makes, but at least she's aware. So nothing can go straight without the women in the house, okay? Unless it's a single father, which I am. I'm a single father. My daughter lives with me. So, um, from a high level standpoint, now we can go into detail, and I'm pretty sure my co-host here has can add more to that. So, but from my perspective, high level perspective, the man is expected to take care of the woman. That's expected. Men who are single out there, if you know you can't afford taking care of a lady, please don't get involved. Don't do it. Don't do it because you're going to make yourself feel indifferent from her. So don't do it. Please don't do it. Make sure your affairs in order before you start dating, before you start seeing women or whoever you like. Just be very careful with that. That's just my advice out there to all the men.
So, in other words, what I'm hearing from you, it's a two pronged thing. One,
Mm-hmm.
there is a situation with people who are married,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
with the woman, and then there are people who are single
Mm-hmm.
who are dating. Okay,
Precisely.
so I believe this individual is coming from the perspective of single.
Okay.
So I believe that's what the question
And
was.
I did.
Why should a woman expect a man
I
to
touched on
stay
the answer.
to yeah
Mm-hmm.
to stabilize? But I like to say this, brothers and sisters, that we can, as human beings, have unrealistic expectations of people,
Mm-hmm.
male or female, um, because it's unfair. And this is where we get this part of biblically taking our time, what we call courtship,
Mm-hmm.
getting to know a person before we try to sleep with them or make some serious commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where we go wrong a lot of times. where we go wrong is um, people want to start off with friendship and then they want to speed right into relationship instead of learning who they are and being a friend to them. And that's vice versa. But the person is coming from the perspective of, why is this person leaning on me so heavy? Like, I need to take care of them, and we ain't even married. I'm not even trying. Let's say it to the ex. It almost sounds like this person's like, I'm not trying to get married. Yes, I might like you, but I ain't liking you like that. Go ahead and say, I might like you, but I ain't liking you like that.
Man,
I might want to get to know you, but I'm not liking you like that.
Well, that's because he doesn't want the responsibility.
Well, he might not, but it also might be where the person is actually seeing something that they don't like. We can be friendly to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as we dating them, we might see something that we do not care for, but I might not want to marry you. You're a great associate, but I might not want to marry you. And that's what becomes very hard for people who might not want rejection or like rejection.
Mm-hmm.
But here's a wonderful thing that I read. Women are much more attracted to a man's character and personality, right, than by his looks, his possessions, and his achievement. Do you agree? I got a peanut gallery in the back, but you can't see them.
We have an audience in the back that says no.
So I was asking my co-host, do you agree with that? Women are more attracted to a man's character and his personality than their looks, possessions, and achievement. Now, we're not saying that they're totally disregarded, because we look with our eyes and, we like what we see. So, but overall, are they more attracted to their character and personality? Or are they more attracted to what they see and what they think they like?
Statistically, I did a research on this actually not too long ago. And if I remember, I should have brought the documents and facts in. A high percentage of women, I believe it's between 65 to 7% of women, want security.
Okay.
First, they want security or the potential of that mate or that man to have money.
So what you're telling me is they don't believe in love. I'm putting you up. Look, I told you, are you ready?
A small percentage believes in love. A bigger percentage believes in financial security.
Now, you're a man who has traveled, been on different continents, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that Western culture here in America, or is that a worldview?
It's a worldview.
Okay.
And I'll give you an example because living in Nigeria, because our parents, they teach us, they raise us to make sure that we're educated. Like in my family where I come from, going to college, having a good job, being a big time person, lawyer, engineer, doctor, it is big where I come from.
Okay, is that male and female?
Both
or just
male and female.
Okay.
Do something with your life that you can be able to take care of yourself and not depend on no man or woman. But in the old country, old school, they expect the woman to marry a rich guy, someone who's got money. You need to marry someone who has money. Instead of you struggling, let him struggle.
Right.
Let him struggle for you. Okay? So my parents made sure, the men in the family, because I have two younger brothers.
Right.
Okay, we can't sit around. We got to make sure we take care of our women and the family. Right. That's how my father raised us. That's how our father raised us.
Gotcha.
That we are responsible. Goes back to the question that was asked earlier. We were raised like that. So most women in Nigeria, someone might come after me later because I told some of my people in Nigeria to tune in if they're on Facebook.
Right. But they will understand.
Yeah,
because
they will
understand. They understand
because
culture.
From a cultural perspective.
Right.
They expect the women in Nigeria, they pursue men who has potential of being rich or a man who's already has massive income coming in.
Okay.
Okay? It's from that culture. In England, it is the same way.
Okay.
Parts of Europe is the same way, especially from the old country. That's what they believe in. The man is supposed to take care of a woman. Now, if it's flipped, something is wrong with that man. He doesn't have a job. He's living with somebody, and you're going out with him. This is what my mother would say. You know, you're dating somebody who does not have potential. So it's a worldview.
Okay. I got you. So, in other words, men need to have this, but we're looking at it from that point of view that we're moving towards marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but this person has a very good point. Why should you expect if I am a boyfriend and you are my girlfriend that you think that I should be, i.e., paying your bills because you're going to tell me a sob story, right? Or doing things that married couples do at a high expense when I have not made that commitment.
Now, that's not a relationship. I don't consider that a relationship.
What do you consider that?
I mean, a woman comes to you and asks you to pay a phone bill or pay a light bill or pay some bill a couple months into the relationship. Those are red flags right there. Where was I before? Where were you? What were you doing before we even met?
Yeah.
When we started dating.
Right.
What were you doing to yourself? What were you doing?
Exactly.
So now all of a sudden you need that extra income. Instead of you getting a second job, you're using the man or woman, because it goes both ways.
Right.
You're using each other to get what you need because you're too lazy to go out there and hustle and get a job like
I won't say
everybody
you're
else.
too lazy. Let's say this.
It's
You
easier.
put yourself in situations you have no business being in.
Correct.
That means it's a red flag there. You're spending too much. You don't, either you're spending too much or you don't know how to handle or manage what you have or manage your resources, because you're depending upon someone else who you're not even married to take care of you.
Right.
And that's not right or
That's not
fair.
right. It's not right or not. It's not fair at all.
A woman, this is a quote, a woman will continue to test a man throughout his life to ensure she can rely on him during bad times and tough times. Do you agree with that? Now that sounds like a wife.
That sounds like a wife.
That sounds like
much.
that sounds like a wife.
That sounds like
See,
a wife.
see the executive producer. He ain't saying nothing.
It's all
A
quiet.
woman
It's all
will
quiet back there now.
continue. A woman will continue to test a man throughout his life to ensure she can rely on him during bad times and tough times.
Nag. My producer says nag, y'all.
Yeah, he did say nag.
Yeah. No. Well. Ooh, that's a tricky one.
So do you think that is true that you get tested?
Yes.
I
yes.
Don't. You
Oh
do?
man, I have something to say.
Hold on.
I have something to say about that.
Is that in the beginning? Do you think that's in the beginning or
No,
throughout
this
the
was
night?
actually from Chris Rock.
Uh-oh.
Chris Rock had a comedy special on Netflix.
Okay.
Where he said women love their dogs. Well, they have dogs. They love their children. But they only love their men or their husband on the premise and the condition that he could provide for them. If he could provide for his wife or his girlfriend, then he gets unconditional love. Women, they have unconditional love with dogs, cats, their children. But that unconditional love only arrives for the husband or the man, the husband or boyfriend, if he's able to show that he can provide for all of them. That's when he gets the love. So I asked this question. No, if you guys don't believe me, watch Tambourine on Netflix for Chris Rock.
No.
My man Chris Rock said it. I didn't say it. He said it.
But you coming in agreement.
Okay.
But you coming in agreement with Chris.
No, I'm not coming to an agreement with him because, like I said earlier, there's a small percentage of women who still love a man because of who he is, not because of what he can possess or what he possesses.
Okay.
I know this for a fact because my fiance is the same way. Right? My fiance, we even talked about it yesterday. She loved me not because of what I make, but what I'm going to make, but she loved me unconditionally. Right. See, I'm not even listening to you.
I'll tell you, we have the peanut gallery today.
So
I guess it's one of these topics.
And this is for the first
today.
time in my life I can honestly say, and I can count with one hand how many relationships I've been in. I'm 50 years old. I can count with one hand. My fiance now is the first one who can honest that I feel deep in my heart that she genuinely loves me, either I have money or not.
Right.
Okay, she's the very first one at 50 years old. Now it is what it is out there in the world today. But my fiance is living proof.
I think a lot of that, even with the question, has to do with what our topic is today. But I haven't even gotten to the next question yet.
Okay, that's why I kept my questions at a high level. I didn't want to go too deep because we can convert that into a topic.
Right. Here we go. Should women work, or should they work to bring in stability, or not work?
Should women work to bring in stability, or should they not work? Women can work the man is still the leader and the provider of the family.
Do you want me to start this one off since you started off the last one?
I was on my way to answer the
Okay,
question.
go ahead.
I was on my way. I was on my way to answer it again from a high level, okay? Because this could, we could harness these questions into topics down the line. But to answer this question, women can work, of course, because even though the man is the head, the provider of everything and whatnot for the house, it'll only be a supplement for the man. Yeah. It'll be a supplement. Whatever she makes is just a supplement. Of course, she keeps the money. She can keep whatever she earns or whatever, keep it to herself or anything. But at hard times, God forbid, knock on wood, if the man is struggling or there's something going on.
This ain't no wood, brother.
Okay.
This is
That's wood right there. So if there's something going on, if the man hits a roadblock or something, he loses his job, at least the wife can play the supplement.
Okay. So
they can work.
You
got the ball. Yep.
Okay. So this is sort of what I came with, brothers and sisters. Yes, she can.
Okay.
If she likes in a marriage. Okay. Ultimately, it's the husband who is providing. And for those who are not believers or those who are chiming in, it's like, where did they get that from? We go see that in biblical content. We go see that in the Old Testament. The objectivity behind that was you could not marry anyone until it was approved by the woman's father. Mm-hmm. So in other words, that woman's father was still providing for her. The offset of that is when she gets married, what you're saying is he gives the approval for you to now be the protector and the provider. So that's where we get that from. All right, and that's Old Testament. That is theologically sound. That's where we get that the man is the head and he's providing for her. Now, where I said if she chooses to, and that's if they're married, right? I'm not talking about girlfriend, boyfriend yet, but I'm talking about if you're married. I wrote down some statistics. The average age of a woman having a baby, because that's a very important part while she be home, the average age is 26. So by then, she done finished her degree, and she's in her career. She's probably married at 26 normally, or sometimes they're married. They have already started their career. So for them, they know how to get into the workforce because they've already started their career.
Right.
Right. So, but this thing where stability. If the family falls on hard times, or if the husband loses his job, it's okay for them to go back into the workforce. It's okay for her to stay home. I think where we get it misconstrued is some people become lackadaisical because they don't want to go back into the workforce.
They relax.
They get relaxed. Mm-hmm. You wasn't relaxed when you met him, but now you relax. And not to say they probably had a child yet, mm-hmm. but if they do, it's okay because most of those people who do have a child, they want someone home with that child instead of in daycare of somebody raising that child. Mm-hmm. Because that's a very sad thing when there's not a two-parent home and she's working, the biological father's working, but they're not together.
Right.
The child is in daycare after 6 to 8 weeks, and somebody else is raising that child, mm-hmm. not you really raising that child. So that's a very hard thing, and that falls on financially hard times and where two people have not come together or have not are not willing to walk together at that point in time. But let me get to my third one before we dive into something very interesting.
I mean, if we can, James, let's mark those first two questions as potential topics.
Okay.
Potential
topics.
Yeah, potential topics for another episode.
Here you go. Here's a hot one for you. Should I pay bills even though I'm divorced?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I mean that, and I say it in capital letters. Once it's decreed that you guys are no longer a couple and the divorce is final, you don't do nothing.
But some people feel obligated, or they might have, as they say, some chitlins.
That's on them, but lawfully no. No.
So they don't have a right to come back and call you and say they got tough times going on. Would you help?
To help them or help the child?
I didn't say the child. I said they have tough times.
No.
And they calling you and saying, "Hey."
No, but okay. Maybe it depends on the relationship, the relationship they had.
Okay.
Maybe they're better off being friends than being a couple. I have to put that in. Yeah, I got to put that out there.
Okay.
If they were friends.
But you said absolutely not, but go ahead.
I know, and I think I have the right to change my mind on things. But I had to reprocess that in my head and think it through. It depends on the relationship. I shouldn't just say no. I apologize about that to everyone out there. But it depends on the relationship.
Okay.
And how it ended. If it ended that, you know what, we're better off just being friends and just being in a relationship. If it ended that way and they're civil to each other, they can still help each other.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So apologies when I said absolutely no. That was just reflex from past experience. But that's reflex from past experience. Sorry. But it depends on the relationship.
Well, I wrote down, even if the relationship is equitable, right? You have no obligation. And to yourself and to protect your legal interests and rights. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, if the court settle it, you don't go back and dabble in it. Mm-hmm. You don't go back. Right. Because it leads to other things. And unfortunately, those who do get caught in that particular situation, they get jammed up because they care. And the other person is to say, for a better word, they're preying upon that does happen, that you do care, mm-hmm. so they can get whatever they need to get from you. And I like to say, because you have resources, mm-hmm. they want those resources. So they need those resources to help them. But when you were together, y'all couldn't walk together because mm-hmm. you were too busy striving together, because one, you did not take your time and court them. You did not take your time to know them. Or
Right.
is a better word, someone used to say, you need to study them. You need to study them. If they are potentially going to be that husband or that wife, you need to study them. You need to study them like you trying to pass for college.
Right.
You need to study them like I'm getting ready for a job interview that's going to be my career for the rest of my life. And that's how you should study them. You should know them so very well, their likes, their dislikes. You really need to know them. But when we don't take the time to know them, and we go back to that first question about them looks and what you want, and because they have possessions or resources more than you, I always say, if the shoe was on the other foot, would you still date that person? If you were if you were the female and you had more resources, would you date that male? And a lot of times they become very hesitant because they're saying, well, I strive very hard to get these resources. I can't just be getting with anybody and giving away my resources. But it was okay when the shoe was on the other foot. Because you wasn't the greatest thing, and you might not have been number one on his list, but as they say, you all right.
You all right. You'll do.
So in that aspect, I always go back to tell people, do your homework. Take your time. There's no need to rush into a relationship. But a lot of times you see people rushing because they want something.
They want something.
They want something out of that.
They want
so
something.
If it's the man who has resources and the young lady is always pulling on him, you have to ask yourself why. What's the hurry? Because if he's not in a hurry, what you're so in a hurry for?
Right, especially early.
I mean, like you want to hurry up and get him into bed for the purpose of what? For the purpose of what?
There's an ulterior motive.
Exactly.
There's a motive.
Because if he's not in a hurry, and then the question goes vice versa. If he's so in a hurry, what is he so in a hurry for? Why is he so in a hurry to want to sleep with you?
Right.
Because what is his motive behind that? Because this is what I always tell people. It's not about the days and how long you can keep your virginity or keep your, I don't like to use the word virginity, keep your clothes on. That might be a better way of saying it because we're a lot older. Keeping your clothes on. It's about, do you want to really know the real me? Do you want to get a chance to know who I really am? Because most people, if truth be told, are not too quick. They don't want, you don't even know me like that. You don't want to know the real me.
I was friends with my fiance before anything. We were friends.
But how long did it take you to know that?
A little bit.
I mean, because
about a year. We were friends for about a year and change before things started to morph into something else.
Right.
Because I was just ending my marriage was coming to an end. But we were friends even when I was married, and we were friends after. So it's more than 1 year. So things started to evolve when you start to realize with this person, okay, this person's not after me because of money. I'm a nerd. I'm an IT nerd. I work in IT, so it's like we do make the money in it is lucrative, but I'm not an athlete or an artist or a singer or whatever that makes those money.
That gets played out real quick.
It gets played out real quick. So she liked me because of who I am, my personality, and we became friends. She respected the fact that I was married, but when the marriage was coming to an end and the marriage ended, we still remained friends. And then as time went on, we noticed that we like to do the same things.
Right.
We had a lot in common.
Right.
Even though she's a lot more vocal than I am, I'm more chill, laid back, and quiet. She says the things that I want to say, but I don't want to, but she says it. So we were feeding off each other personality-wise. We're both in entertainment. We're both actors. Okay, so that was a big plus. So it's like we have the same dreams, same ideals, the same goals.
Okay.
You know, but we're still in some shape or form like night and day. But it's kind of like when you're night and day, but you guys still have a lot in common. We like to do the same thing, but boring. We're both two boring people. We're not doing what we do now. We are at home eating bonbons, watching shows on TV, binging on shows, and just bored, vegging out, just relaxing.
Right.
So we had a lot in common. She didn't have an ulterior motive to bring this back around. She didn't have an ulterior motive. She, knew what was going on with me. I knew what was going on with her. I didn't want anything from her. She didn't want anything from me. And when we even when the relationship started between me and her, we still kept things, different, separate,
Right.
Rarely do I ask her for help. Rarely does she ask me for help, And by the time she tells me what happened, she's already taken care of it. I'm like, honey, you should have told me something.
So, do you think that women can see the diamond in the rough quicker than the men?
Yes.
He was like,
yes.
on a quick.
Yes.
They
no,
can spot,
I don't even have to
you.
think about this one, guys. I really don't have to think about it. Yes. Some women see a diamond in the most women, a lot of women see diamond in the rough. And I don't want to say latch on, but they try to get close with that person. It's not like there's an ulterior motive, but she actually sees that diamond, and that diamond is
the potential of what it could be.
Potential. It's not cubic zirconia. Okay, it's not cubic zirconia.
I don't know. Some of us brothers are some cubic zirconia.
Yeah,
there's some of us.
On the contrary, yeah, that's true. That's true. So, but she accepts me for who I am because flaws and all, and I accept her for who she is, flaws and all. So she saw something. I have to admit, I saw something too. I said, you know what? I'm like, we're like the yin and the yang now. The yin and the yang now. Say, okay, do you want this? You want to do this the hard way? Oh, we always talk about this. We want to do this either the hard way or we want to do this the easy way. Let me remind you, I'm the easy one. Because by the time you get to the hard one, all the gloves are off. She's going to war with you. So I'm the easy guy. I'm the easy one. So let's do this now before it goes to her. Because by the time it gets to her, she don't want to hear nothing anymore. And she'll tell you had the chance to talk to the easy one. Okay? And you didn't. So I said that to say this. Women do, to answer your question, women do see diamonds in the rough.
They see further than men.
They see it more than men. Because we're more, I hate to put it this way, my boy's gonna get me. We're more superficial. You see a fine woman coming around the corner, you don't even know if she's a serial killer. She could be a serial killer. She could be a fraud. Right. She could be a fraud.
Wow.
She can hack into your stuff and clean you dry. But you don't care because she's fine. That's men.
Well, that's because once again, that particular individual, right, have not taken the time
to know that person.
Well, even to know themselves.
Right.
Because their ulterior motive, as you say, it's almost like being narcissistic. It's all about what I want, what I can't have.
Precisely.
What I can take from somebody.
Yep.
What I can get from them. What I can manipulate from them. So I always say that those particular individuals, you don't want them in your circle.
No.
And you can a lot of times you can easily spot them.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a whole lot of issues, and it's not just about themselves. There's a whole lot of issues that has to be unpacked there.
Right.
But I brung that up to answer these questions because I always like to kick off the show with questions, thought-provoking questions that came in that needed to be answered, and we answered them. So when I said earlier that we were going to pivot and we weren't going to do men's health, what I end up having a moment this past weekend, about my topic was changing phases in areas of your life. Now, this topic might get to you a little bit because there's some challenges here.
Okay.
And it's and I like, I like parables. So and I like stories. So I have a lot of children, and my children are all adults now. But when a woman is pregnant, there's changes that goes on inside her body. Mm-hmm. Even in the first trimester, even if she's not showing, there's some changes going on. Toby, there's some serious changes going on. Mm-hmm. There's some hormone changes going on.
Mood swings.
We got some mood swings. Mm-hmm. We eating habits.
Most
change.
bizarre foods.
Yeah.
Like pickles and chocolate all together.
Yeah, ice cream. Like chewing on ice.
Right at 2:00 in the morning.
Sometimes some of them might cry for no reason. We think it's no reason, but to them, it's a legitimate reason. Just all kinds of changes is going on in her body because there's another human being coming, right? And you don't normally see the changes in the different phases going on. And when we hear men here, oh, my wife's in the first trimester. Oh, she's in the second trimester. Oh, she's getting close. We're in the last trimester. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh yeah, she's getting real close. And yeah, I sometimes I had to get what they say. I got to get out of bed and go sleep on the couch because I ain't getting no rest.
Right.
Or I got to constantly be, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I brung that up because things in life sometimes we don't see, and sometimes the people outside of you or around you challenge you so you can grow or so you can stretch. So things happen inside, and as they happen inside, the changes starts to affect that individual. I brung that up because I looked at something that was thought-provoking. And it was so thought-provoking that I said and wrote it down, and I was reading my word. And this is it. You ready for it?
Bring it. I'm at bat.
All right. So I'm about to drop this on my producer. He probably gonna run back in the office. Mm-hmm. These 5 critical and key areas.
Okay.
Right.
I'm at bat.
All right. So you ready? Number 1. These key areas affect every part of your being, right? Spiritually is 1. 2, emotionally. 3, relational. 4, financial. And last, 5, professional. They affect all phases of your life. If you had to rank them from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the greatest, rank spirituality first for me, if you don't mind.
Spirituality.
1 through 5. 5 being the greatest,
highest,
and one being the lowest.
Spirituality is number 1.
Right. So where would you rank that in your life right now?
Number 1.
So 1 is going to be number 1. Spirituality is going to be 1.
Right.
You're at your lowest point.
No. Spirituality is 5.
But now spirituality is 5. Okay.
Right. Spirituality is 5.
Okay. All right. So number 2.
Is 5.
Emotionally. From 1 to 5.
By like maybe 2 or 3.
About 2 or 3. Okay. Number 3, relationally. How do you rank that from 1 to 5 in your life currently right now?
Relationship, that would be like 4.
4?
Like 4.
You can't just be thinking about your fiance. I said
No,
relational.
no, relational. That includes
Okay,
family and family
so 4.
and everything. Right.
All right.
Should be like 4.
So financially,
5.
5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got
Wait a
two
minute.
fives, a
No,
4.
no, no 2 5s. No, I just caught that 2 5. Spiritually is 5. Finance is 4. Relations is 3.
And emotions is 2.
Emotions is 2.
And what about professional?
1.
1.
I don't necessarily want to put it at 1, but
1.
those
My
top 4.
my producer won't ask that. He won't tell me where.
Oh, so you've asked them already?
Well, you know, he goes in his office and hides, so he won't say where he's at spiritually ranked from 1 to 5. Where are you at spiritually? Being 1 being lowest, and 5 being your highest spiritually. Where do you rank that in your life currently? Yeah, 5. Interesting. Emotionally, number 2, from 1 to 5. Where are you at? You're 4. You're okay. So relational, where you at? Number 3, relational from 1 to 5. With anyone in your life right now, relational. That means relationships with people, relationships all around. 4. Now 5 is the highest, so you're at 4. Okay, I'm challenging my producer right now. So financially, from 1 to 5, where would you be? 5 financially, and professionally, where would you be? 5. So you're saying that spiritually, you're 5. Okay.
I think I have a potential emergency.
So, okay.
I have a potential emergency. I don't know how this.
You can go ahead. Excuse yourself.
Okay.
You can excuse yourself. So, if that is to be so, where do you spend the bulk of your time between those 5 issues? No, between the 5 issues that you ranked, and let's just say your top, spiritually, you spend the bulk of your time.
That starts my day.
That's what starts your day.
Even through the rough days and the bad days, good days and bad.
Now, since you spend your time there, do you also spend your resources there, spiritually? If you needed to?
If I need to deal with issues.
Okay. The reason why I bring this up, there's a topic in changing phases, is because Hosea 4:6 says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge, or destroyed, or put away." And the reason why I say that is because those 5 critical areas are areas that have affected everyone's life at some point. And it's pointed out that those issues, even when you read the Bible, those issues affect people. And so if you are spiritually that attuned, why are you at a 2 professionally? No, you went backwards on me. This is my producer, y'all. He said I went backwards on him. I'm just only quoting what he said. He said he was a 5 in spirituality. He was 5 in financial. He was a 4 in relational. If you were what? You were you said emotionally you were what, a 4, and once again professionally you were what, a 5. So my question is, if you're a 5 in all these, then how come you're not more more astute than where you're at? That means how come you're not affecting more lives? You are? But he said he's utilizing me. You see, I told you, ladies and gentlemen, look, I can't get it. Look, I knew he was going to do this. I was waiting for the punchline or the joke
It's
to
like
come
a
out.
setup.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Right.
I guess
This hit 3 million.
so I guess he's saying he getting all fives in all the areas because he's using us to reach all of us. But I bring that up because a lot of times in that parable that I brought up about mothers is a lot of Christians who profess to be Christians are not showing as Christians like a woman who's given birth. They're not showing God's love or not showing their true Christianity. But they're professing to be, but in these areas, they're not. You see this even in professionalism. We're laughing now, but a lot of people, when you go to these different jobs, they have people who professing to be Christians treating people very nasty, very mean.
Yeah.
Men who are not emotional, who don't have that they don't have any empathy. They don't care. But yet these people are calling themselves, once again, Christians. You got people who claim to be so spiritual, but don't know how to connect to anyone. And I won't even get into the part of really about, are we reaching out or teaching people? Or here's our Christian intellectual word of the day, discipling. Do you really take out 3.5 years like Jesus and really disciple someone? Or do you just like to use the word and go through that 16-week, 10-week program and then say, hey, you've been discipled?
You've been discipled.
So all these lack in these different areas. Like, let me hit on finance. A lot of people might be, I watched a lady who came on a video that my wife sent me about 4 months ago. And this lady had 2 degrees. She worked for some of the best companies. And she says, I was making 6 figures and I was staying broke. She said, I would always be broke. And I got a degree in economics. And she said, because no one, even though she had been educated, no one taught her how to navigate finances properly. And it was the more money I made, the more I spent, and the more people in my family had their hands out. In this realm of those 5 critical areas of your life, you need to walk with people. You need to walk with real Christian folks who's going to not only hold you accountable, but walk with you because they care about you, because they love you, not because they're trying to get something out of you.
Right.
You, in Western culture, we have found where there are far too many people who manipulate to try to get something from you all the time. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I used to have I still do, a dear friend, and he was an elder, and he's like, brother, they're trying to, they using the God, they're trying to pimp the gospel. And what he was saying was they're using the gospel to actually just manipulate people to either give them or use them in such a way, their talents or their gifts,
Did we
get
touch
what they
on that
want.
a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I
touched
think
on
we
it.
did.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
touched on it a few
we
weeks
really
ago.
did. And so those areas of these 5 critical areas of your life are very important because they touch your life every day. They really do, because you have a career. So that's in your. Who are you going to run across professionally? That's going to help you. That's going to take care of you, and that's why we need God in every situation in every part and being of our life. Emotionally, a lot of men are not in touch with their emotions, and end up getting depressed, having anxiety, because we don't release. We're taught, look, you got to deal with that and keep going. Well, I don't know what that is about dealing with that, but understanding that we must continue going, and they do, and they throw their feelings behind there. But men have feelings, they have emotions, and they care.
Yeah.
And so I brung that up because I knew that would probably, you're like, hold on now, I'm a 5 here, I'm a 4 there, but it's letting us know that we're not totally complete without him.
Right.
So as I was reading, I'm like, wow. So the people are perishing. And then the people are being destroyed. The people are being pushed aside. The people are being put away. The people are being left behind for a lack of knowledge. For who, and they even said it better. Do you believe in all that the Bible say, or do you believe in what someone told you about the Bible? Because a lot of things that people believe that they think was in the Bible is really based off of what someone told them.
What someone
It wasn't what they read.
Unless you
you
vigilantly read the Bible
right.
every
So
day.
Or they have a bad interpretation. They don't comprehend what they're reading. So these people are reading, and you're like, that's not the correct interpretation. Or you ever heard someone says, well, and they misquote the Bible, and then they try to tell you that's in the Bible, and then when you ask them, where is that? Show it to me. And then they can't show it to you, and then they come with the famous line, well, I know it's in there somewhere. Are you quoting what you heard someone said? Or are you really sitting down, having that one-on-one time with God and really reading? Because these, when you reach that certain age, let's say the golden age of 50, right? When you reach 50, does something come on and says, hey, I'm starting to go downhill now? And what I mean by that, not my body and my mind, I'm getting closer to that graveyard. I'm getting closer to where time is of the essence. And if we like Jesus, we have to say, I got to be about my Father's business.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you the last word before we wrap up here.
Hitting 50. When you get to that age, you now start to reflect on everything that you did in your past that was right and that was wrong. And it helps you navigate how you're going to do your next 50 or 40 year or whatnot. And that's where personally I am in my life right now. I want to, things that I didn't do right or things that I did right, maintain doing the right things and modify things you felt you could have done differently.
Okay.
That's where I am right now. I don't want to be in the corporate world all the way to my 70s and 80s. That's for sure. That's for sure. So I'm now trying to position myself in a place where now I can run my own show. I've given corporate world enough years. So I want to run my own show. So that's where I am right now with my life. That's why, I feel like you said earlier, the ranking, finance to me is 1, because once you have finance, it's 5. Finance is 5. Then once you have finance, everything else underneath that, it becomes easy. Because it becomes easy once you have the finances. Things become a lot more easy for you.
But this is your last word because we have to go.
Right.
But
So,
I don't want to. I was going to throw you back on the hot seat about that one. But go ahead.
Well, you know what? We could bookmark it for next week.
Yeah, we have to.
We can bookmark that for next week.
Yeah,
so.
we have to.
Yep.
But go ahead, my brother. I didn't mean to cut
and
you
that's
off.
no. That's all I have. That's all I got.
Okay.
So.
My brother Toby over here said once you get the finance, it's all gravy. But I'm going to challenge him on that, my brother.
And I think I know what that challenge is, but we're going to bookmark it.
We're going to hold it up for next week.
Right.
Because I'm looking forward to that challenge. But as for me, I'm Elder Jones. I thank you for your time. I thank you for being here. And until next week, we see you. Mind of a man.
Mind of a man.
Till next week.
Till next
Blessings
week.
to you.